Hi guys, today we've got a little bit more work to do in the vegetable garden. We're going to be harvesting our onions and I'll show you that process of drying and curing them. It's pretty similar to the garlic that we did a couple weeks ago. Then we're going to be turning over that bed, planting some more summer crops. I have a blackberry bush that I want to get potted up. It's new for this year. And then we're going to be finishing up with our garlic. We need to clean it and get it ready for storage and to give away to some friends and neighbors. We got a bunch of rain last night, which is not ideal for harvesting onions. Typically, you want a few dry days before you harvest. That way, when you pull the onions out, you don't have a lot of dirt sticking to them. But I've been trying to do that for over a week now, and Mother Nature is just not having it. So we are just gonna harvest them wet, and we'll be fine. Here's our onion bed. We've got our Cabernet red onions on the left and our candy onions on the right. These are a high sugar sweet onion, and they pretty much tell you when they're ready to harvest. Typically, the necks will soften up and fall over just like they are doing right here, and then the leaves will start to dry up. But as you can see, they're pretty much ready to go. They're pretty loose in the ground, so really just a slight tug and they come right up. And actually there's not a lot of soil stuck to them, so that's actually really good. So we're gonna harvest all these onions, put them in our milk crate, take them down to the basement and lay them out on a pallet where they can dry down. And what that's gonna do is as the foliage dries down, it's gonna feed the bulb and all of the sugars will concentrate into the bulb. And then once they're dried completely, we'll just clean them up and get them ready for storage. You kind of want to think of them like daffodil or tulip bulbs. Once they're done blooming, the foliage is still green and it's still soaking up energy from the sun and feeding the bulb. Once that foliage dies back, you just snip off the dried foliage and they're ready for next year. The only difference is with onions and garlic, they're doing it out of the ground. Once we clear out this bed, we're going to recharge the soil and plant another round of summer crops. I've got some raised bed mix, compost, and garden tone fertilizer to add in. And here's what we're going to be planting today. I've got another variety of cucumbers. I've got pick a bushel. These are a container variety, so they don't get too viney and long, but they're short day harvest, 47 days to harvest. And then I've also got some baby leaf spinach, which is only 30 days to harvest, and some lettuce. And I also picked up this low growing flower mix. I may sprinkle some of these all throughout the bed just to kind of make it pretty. Once we're done replanting this bed, we'll take our onions into the basement and get them ready to dry and cure. All right, guys, here we go. That's a nice one. All right, our onions have been harvested, the soil's been recharged, and we've got our spinach, lettuce, and cucumber planted, all watered in. You can see I'm using a tomato cage as a trellis for the cucumber because I had it on hand, so why not use it? Now, before we take our onions into the basement, I want to get our blackberry bush potted up since we're already out here. Here's our blackberry bush. Isn't it beautiful? So this is the Taste of Heaven from Proven Winners. It's new this year. It's a thornless blackberry bush, and I didn't know where in the landscape I wanted to put it permanently, so I thought, you know what, let's just get it potted up in a bigger container with some fresh potting soil until I can figure out a more permanent spot for it. So again, this is new for this year, and it grows 3 to 5 feet tall, 2 to 3 feet wide, hardy in zones 6 through 9, and it needs full sun and slightly acidic soil, as most berry bushes do. Now, the description says it's a big juicy berry with a very sweet flavor, but typically blackberries bloom on second year canes, so we most likely won't see fruit until next year, but I'm just excited to get it potted up and see what we have to look forward to next year. We're going to be potting it up in a 16-inch container. I've got some fresh potting soil, and I'm going to be fertilizing it with some berry tone. All potted up, fertilized, and watered in. Really looking forward to seeing this progress this season and next season. Maybe we'll have some fruit to sample, but this is where it's going to stay for now. It does get full sun. We're about 11 a.m., so give it like another 30 minutes or so, and it will get full sun up until about 7:30, 8 o'clock at night. It is in a well-draining container, and I will keep you guys updated on its progress. Now let's take our onions inside and get them all laid out so they can dry. Here we are in the basement slash gym. This is the pallet that we use to cure our garlic. Our onions are over here, and it's pretty much the same process. So we're just gonna lay them out on the pallet in rows, overlapping each other, but still allowing for airflow until all of the foliage dries down. Then we can clean them up and get them ready for storage. All right, guys, here is our harvest. I am really happy with it. Again, considering last year we didn't get any because the fig tree was blocking all the sun, but look at the size of some of these. Now, a lot of them are smaller too, but that's fine. They're all edible. They just didn't have a chance to bulb up too much. And it's also because, remember, we had to treat these for allium leaf miner, so I think it kind of stunted them a little bit, but we still got some decent sized bulbs from these. So these are gonna sit here for a couple weeks, dry down, cure, and then once all of the foliage is completely dried down, we'll clean off all the dirt, cut off the necks and cut off the roots, and get them into storage. I'm going to show you the cleaning off process now because we're going to do it to the garlic. All right, guys, so here is our garlic that we have cured. You can see it is completely dried down. All of the foliage is dry, and we are ready to clean it up. Now, this side is the side where a lot of the garlic cloves split from the skin. So these are not good for storing, but they are still edible. This side, all of the skin is intact, so we can store these. But let me show you how we're gonna clean them off. So here's our garlic clove, and I'm just using a semi-soft bristle brush just to kind of brush off a lot of the dried dirt around the skin. You can see this one has splits, so we're not going to be storing it, but we still want to clean it and get it ready to eat. So once we have all of the dirt removed, we just take our pruners, cut off the roots, and then we want to cut off about an inch, inch and a half from the neck. And there we are. So here is our garlic harvest for the season. Not too bad if I don't say so myself. We got some pretty good size garlic heads. These over here are the ones that we're gonna store. These are the ones that we're gonna use. We're gonna give away some of these, give away some of these, but these are the ones where the skin broke and the cloves are separating, so these won't store well, but we can use them. They are edible. These, where the skin is intact, they will store a lot longer. I've got them in a milk crate with a piece of burlap inside, and all I'm gonna do is just close this up like so. Boom, just get it all nice and tucked in. And then I'm gonna take this into the basement and put it in a corner right next to a cool vent so it'll stay cool, it'll have humidity, and we'll just come downstairs and just grab what we need. And the burlap protects it from light, and it still allows for air to flow through, because we don't want to enclose this in an airtight container because eventually it's just going to rot. And you guys, we are done for the day, and what a productive day it was. We harvested our onions, we turned the bed over and planted a whole new set of summer crops. We planted up or potted up our blackberry bush, and we cleaned and got all of our garlic ready for storage. So all in all, I would say that was a very good day. And you guys, that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.